In 2016, Supercell launched Clash Royale, a game that swiftly became one of the most successful titles in the mobile gaming industry. Alongside millions of other players, I was instantly captivated, and the game's meteoric rise in popularity supported this collective enthusiasm. However, despite maintaining a substantial player base even 8 years later, the game's popularity has undeniably waned. While there are countless theories as to why the decline has occurred, this video isn't about dwelling on the negatives. I'm really not much of a rant guy. Instead, I want to focus on the potential improvements that could restore the games to its former glory, or at the very least prevent its downfall. Look, I love myself some Clash Royale. Does that mean that I think the game is perfect? Absolutely not. That's why I'm gonna share 3 things that I think will significantly enhance the game, making my experience, and hopefully yours, much more fulfilling. And if you are new here to the channel, this is not my regular kind of content. However, if you enjoy this style, let me know in the comments below and I might make more videos like this in the future. Now let's go. First off, 2v2 ladder. Right now in the game, 2v2 doesn't really have a spot. Sure, you can do your daily caps to get the season tokens, but that's pretty much it. There's no real incentive to actually play 2v2. There's no trophies, there's no rewards, and you know me guys, I like myself some trophies and some rewards, alright? I obviously like 2v2 as a game mode, but even so, I rarely play it. But imagine if you had a friend or a clanmate that you can actually team up with and actually push with, because let's face it, Clash Royale is kind of a competitive game and sometimes it's a little bit stressful, not gonna lie. So wouldn't it be nice to just offload a little bit of that stress to someone else? There's nothing wrong with some cooperative gameplay. I think they would attract a lot more people playing the game if they just added this little element, especially when you already have the existing game mechanics for it. For me, it's a no-brainer. Supercell, add 2v2 ladder. The second thing I want to be added, or actually re-added to the game, is something that you OGs will probably remember. Talking about tournaments. And I'm not talking about the tournaments that Clash Royale themselves put out, like global tournaments and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about the old tournaments that every single player had the option to create. It was much more community driven and it was such a blast to participate in these kind of tournaments. You could create different kinds of tournaments. I think the cheap ones cost like $100 to start, but the most expensive ones cost like 250,000 gems to start. And you can change around the settings, make the tournament 1 hour long, you can make it 3 days long. I think you could have a 50-player tournament, you could have like a 1,000-player tournament, and it was just a blast with all the customizations. And from a content creator perspective, this was huge, because you could actually interact with your subscribers now to make like giveaways and stuff if someone ends up in top 3 or something in your tournament. Yeah, I love the tournaments, and if I had to describe the feeling, it would be hard, but I would say it's something in between a classic challenge and a grand challenge, because it doesn't cost any gems to participate in the tournament, only to create one. So that relieves you a little bit of the stress of losing gems. But in my opinion, much more fun than a grand challenge. And I understand that they had to shut the tournaments down because people were like exploiting the reward somehow. I don't remember how that went about, but I just can't stop thinking like, it's 8 years later now. It's 2024. Isn't there a way for Supercell to add tournaments without people being able to exploit it? Am I crazy for thinking that? I don't know. Is it such a hard task to take on? Make fixes, don't remove it. Anyways, let's jump into the third one, because I don't think they're ever gonna add tournaments back. The last thing that I want to touch on is probably the most important one, and you probably guessed it or at least heard of it, and that is a PvE mode. I know a lot of people have been talking about adding a PvE mode to the game, and I'm not talking about playing against a trainer or doing the boat battles in Clan Wars. No, I'm talking about the full-scale adventure mode or something, like you go to a different screen to play this mode. Something huge. As for now, I haven't heard a single plan of implementing a PvE mode to the game. Maybe they've said it in a Q&A or something, but so far, nothing. And why is that? And why is it so hard to conceptualize? To be fair, I know that Supercell works in small teams, but they have talked about expanding their teams. I know that they did that for Clash of Clans, and that's actually why Clash of Clans have risen in popularity lately. Again. But Clash Royale just seems to stand still. So maybe this is an opportunity for the Clash Royale team to actually expand on this idea. Cause I think it's something that would actually attract a lot of players to make it a little bit more noob friendly, if you will. Or less competitive. You don't have to remove all the pro elements of the game, that can still be there. It's just another way for more people to play your game. But I know that Supercell always focus on quality over quantity, and I understand that it's gonna be a huge undertaking in engineering and programming and stuff like that, so I understand it. This is not a no-brainer for me, because this would involve like inventing new game mechanics and stuff like that, and it's a huge undertaking. But if there's one company that can do something and do it right, I do think it's Supercell. And you can say whatever you want with all the balance changes and things they add and how money grabbing they are. I can agree to some extent, but the core mechanics of the games that they put out, like the core gameplay, like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, you know, it's exceptional and it hasn't been seen in the mobile gaming industry ever. They make top-notch games. And you can call me a sellout as much as you want, I just don't really like to focus on negative stuff, as I said in the beginning. Let's not focus on the problem, but on a solution. That's my motto. So, what would a PvE mode actually look like? To be honest, I haven't given this too much thought because it's just so out there still, but maybe I could compare it to Axie Infinity that had like 2 game modes. One was the adventure mode where you can actually go on to levels and beat up monsters and stuff like that, and then you also have the PvE side where you actually go into games and beat up your opponents. But I don't think that would do it in Clash Royale though. I think it needs to be something more in line with like tower defense, or if you play solo or in a group, you can have these like waves of mobs coming down your lane and bosses and everything, and you can use like potions to boost your stats and stuff, or items to boost your stats, I don't know. It's hard to visualize actually, but I'm gonna give you a curveball here at the end. I'm gonna leave the question open to you. What would a PvE game mode in Clash Royale look like? Let me know in the comments below, maybe we got some Einsteins here. So that is 3 things that I would like to see added and re-added to the game. Talking about the tournaments there, that they removed. Anyways, thank you so much for watching to the very end. Give a like on this video if you want to see more of this kind of videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, also, add Book of Books back to the Diamond Pass.